If you're a startup founder or a new entrepreneur, startup events are something that are definitely worthwhile and something you should look into. And in this video, we'll be looking at the events I've gone to so that you can get a better idea of what's out there and where you might want to attend. Let's get started. So why should you attend startup events in the first place? Well, simply put, they're the best places to meet people face to face who are into business and startups as well. Depending on the event, there will be lots of people, networking, free food, free drinks, and an after party. Depending on the event, you may run into investors, software developers, salespeople, possible clients. You never really know who you're gonna run into before you actually attend the event. And basically, if you do them right, the events are gonna pay for themselves. That's why I love going to them. They're just, really fun things to do. And you basically get paid for going there and you get to grow your business at the same time. And even if you're not a startup founder, you can actually volunteer at most of the events. There's a lot of volunteering spots, so even if you're not an entrepreneur yet, or you can't afford the actual tickets, you can go volunteer and get into the event for free. So I've been to a lot of different types of events. I've been to really big startup conferences and events such as Slush or Arctic 15. Also smaller community events hosted by, student entrepreneurship organizations or some co-working spaces in the center. But yeah, let's get into the bigger conferences first and then move down to the other events. Usually the larger events which attract a lot of people, they are usually 1 or 2 days. The days usually consist of a lot of networking, a lot of talking, some food, and a lot of coffee. So usually the networking goes like so. You have a web app or some phone app where you can browse all the people who attend the event, and then you can suggest meetings with all the people. You fill in your profile, and then you can read the other person's profile and send a short message that, hey, we do this thing, we have this startup product, would you like to take a meeting? I think we could really help you out with, like, for example, marketing or sales. And then the person either accepts the meeting or declines it, and then you fill your calendar with the meetings. So usually it depends a lot on the event, like how many people attend, how many meetings you get. Usually you get over 10 easily, maybe even 20 if you're really good at booking or your service is something that people want to get. And usually you should do the booking slightly earlier than, the day before the event. I think a week before or even 2 weeks before the event starts is good. Otherwise you're not going to get as many because people's calendars fill up, and then you're going to be left with nothing, because the meetings are really the core, the usefulness of the events, because then you get 15 or 20 minutes to talk to one person to get convince them to buy your product basically, or invest into your company if they're an investor. So you really want to focus on the one-on-one meetings. And then also the stands are useful. There's usually like startup stands by local startups or people who've got a stand at the event that you can go talk to. Those are also good places to talk to and network with new people. Then usually there's like speaker events. Speakers come to the event to talk about particular topics they're good at. There's usually a lot of free coffee hopefully involved. You can network in the coffee queue, and there's also an after party of some sorts where you can go and have a couple of drinks in a relaxed environment, and then hopefully also network with people as well and make new friendships along the way, and talk to the people you talked earlier in the event to get a bit more closer with them. And then there's 1 or 2 days of that, and then you have the follow-ups after the event. If you've been able to secure like possible leads or customers. For example, on our end, when we've been doing the software development for other companies, we've been able to secure at least one client from every event. So they've been quite worth it. We've been at least be able to be like even on the startup event, as if you look at it as an investment. And they're also really fun things to attend, like I said earlier. Like you get to talk to a lot of people, network, grow your LinkedIn profile and follower account, and talk to investors as well. So you can get a lot of use out of them, even if it's not monetary immediately. But yeah, if you sell your service, you should be able to get like at least a couple of clients from every event if you do them properly. But yeah, the structure is usually the same, except for maybe community events or something like this, where it's a bit smaller scale local event, like one day, one evening sort of event mixer type of thing, which are usually more relaxed, like having like a relaxed evening at some like co-working space where they host a networking event. But yeah, the bigger events usually follow that formula, and it's pretty standard across the whole board. So yeah, let's get started, and let's move on to the first event. Yeah, so let's start off the list by talking about Slush. It's the crown jewel of basically startup events. It brings together like 25,000 people and the most amount of venture capital money and other investors into the single event in the Nordics, or even in Europe if I remember correctly. And it is a truly colossal event. It is huge. You can really feel it in the venue when you're there. The lights, the stages, the speaker events, everything is just huge. It's a really big scale event, and you can just see it from the people and the energy, because it's just like it's sprawling with people who are like going to the next event, the next speaker event, the next meeting. Everybody's super busy. Everybody's calendar is like super packed. It's like just 2 days of just full on sending from meeting to the next, and I think it quite busy and overwhelming. The event is like, it is a good event, like it brings together a lot of entrepreneurs and people, but maybe let's just say for like earlier stage entrepreneurs, it might not be that good, because it's not as human sized, it's quite big. So for example, everybody's calendars are super booked. It's really difficult to get like investors' attention, because they have like 1,000 people messaging them on the messaging app. It's quite a busy event, like I said, and like for example, last year when I went, I got like 20 something meetings for the course of like 2 days, and you just have to send it like one meeting to the next. And you know, there's no free food or anything else except coffee and energy drinks that they give out, so you just get super caffeinated while you go meeting to the next every day. And then you also obviously have the after party, which is quite grand. So you have like 10 coffees during the day, no proper lunch, and then you know, you send it through the night as well, and then next day same thing. So it is sort of like, for I'd say like earlier stage entrepreneurs, maybe not the event you might get results from. You might, obviously it's always so different and random who you meet at the events, but my experience has been that like it's a super busy event, and everybody's trying to get the attention of the investors. Obviously they get like thousands of messages in the networking app, and it's really difficult to capture people's attention, because everybody has so many meetings. Their like attention span is like put so wide because of all the speaker events and meetings they have to have, and then you know, the stands they go through and everything. It's quite a demanding event, and also for example, the stands and the tickets are quite expensive. So the tickets are like, I think startup tickets are like 300 euros, and then the visitor ones are like 1,000 or something like that. So it can also be really difficult to get tickets if you're, you know, not making revenue or you don't have money for them. And the stands I think are several thousands of euros as well, so they're quite expensive. You know, understandably, obviously it's a big event, but it might not be for the earliest stage entrepreneur. But if you're, you know, getting into, you know, securing funding and everything, I think it could be a really good place to get in touch with investors if you manage to capture their attention and get as many meetings into the calendar as possible. So at Slush, there's definitely something for everybody to do and see. And just, you know, going through the stands alone is going to take you a whole day, which is quite nice. There's a lot of like startups on the stands. Not all of them are like early stage. Quite a lot of them are like later stage startups, so they might have like, I don't know, tens of employees, hundreds of employees even. Last time I talked to them, it is the biggest event. You need to be prepared also for Slush. As a tip, advice, if you attend Slush, make sure you start working on the networking, the Slush platform, securing your meetings as early as possible. You have to do it at least 2 weeks before the event. Otherwise, everybody's calendar is going to be booked full and you can't secure any meetings at all. And the meetings are probably the most important thing you can do at startup events. They basically, they're the way to getting sales at events, because you get to talk to the person, you know, for 20 minutes, you know, one-on-one, and they really get to, you know, hear about you and learn about you and see if there's a fit with your product or service that you're selling. So definitely, especially with Slush, do it as early as possible. Start sending out those networking requests on the meeting app that you have on the event, at least that from my experience, Slush like 2 weeks before, and you should be good. That's about it for Slush, what I can come up with. Really good event. I think it's something you definitely have to go experience at least once if you can afford it. Other than that, yeah, let's move on to the next one. Next up is Arctic 15. Arctic 15 is probably one of my favorite events to date. It's like a really human-sized event compared to Slush. It's a big event, but there's still, you know, room to breathe, and everybody's not in a super big hurry to the next meeting or the next thing on the agenda. And you can talk to, you know, most people on the event floor, no problems, and people won't just say that they're in a hurry or something. But yeah, it's a really good event. There's a lot of startup stands. There's a lot of speaker events. There's a lot of workshops. There's a food court, which is really nice. There's also the usual meeting area and networking matchmaking tool online, which you can use to secure your meetings for investors and clients, which is really nice. And there's also a huge pitching competition for the startups who are attending. So you can attend the pitching competition and enter into for a chance to get an investment from the sort of committee of judges that are there. So the sum of the investment they make is obviously different every year, but here's the sum for last year, which was quite a measurable sum. So you have a chance to win that. And not only that, if even if you don't win, you still get to participate in the pitching competition, improve your pitching skills over a big audience, as well as get yourself some attention from the crowd and also the other investors at the event who are also interested to see the all the startups there. So it's a great opportunity for you to get some air time on air and showcase your startup. And also there's a lot of booths that are like actual startups, so you get to meet the founders there, you get to talk to them about their product, you can probably see demos. They usually have like some of their products on demo at the stands. And then there's also like these university R2B project stands as well, which usually have some really cool higher tech stuff on demo, which is also really nice. So you get that side of the startup experience as well to see at the event. And then I think last note about Arctic, which I want to really say, is the food court. It's always a terrific place to take a breather between your meetings. There's usually this huge food court next to the meeting area where like you have infinite amount of like really good catering food, as well as like snacks and like smoothies and everything. So you can just go there every time you're out of a meeting and grab something quickly. And it's such a good feature of the event because for example at Slush, you're always in a hurry. You drink like 15 coffees because that's the only thing that's like free. You never get to eat anything. So I think that's definitely one of my favorite parts also about Arctic is that it's the food court that's like included in the ticket, so you don't have to pay for anything. It's all included, and you can just go there and chat up people and meet new people as well as while you're dining, because it's like there's no like place to sit. It's all like standing tables, so you can just always go to the table like, hey, who are you? Can I sit here or can I stand here? Because it's standing table. So it's a really good event, and I definitely recommend you to go here if it's your like first time going to events, or you're looking at events to go to, or even if you're looking to come to events in Finland. This is definitely something worthwhile, and also the after party is pretty nice. Now that we talked about Arctic, I want to quickly mention Nordic Deeptech. It's hosted by the same people who did Arctic, and it's basically a gathering. It's like a business summit or a gathering of researchers and investors, where basically the idea is to connect those R2B startup founders and researchers with investors to make deep tech more of a thing. And it was a really great event when I went there. It was hosted in the Dipoli building at Aalto University, and it basically the idea was to feature the research projects that are being productionized from Aalto University and VTT Research Lab, and it was really good. Like so many smart people and researchers doing actual hardcore science stuff, lasers, biotech, chemical engineering tech, and all that cool stuff, space tech. It was not a place where you could like sell your products to the startups, because obviously they're research project groups or startups, so the funding at the early stage is quite tight, and they don't really buy outsourcing services that much, at least SaaS services. So wasn't that much of like a selling event for me, but it was still really good. It basically followed the same format as Arctic 15, so it was really good. And definitely if you're into deep tech research, something like this, this is something to attend if you can. But wasn't something that you necessarily go sell your stuff to. So next up is Starship Fest, hosted by Cosimo. The main event of this startup event is the pitching competition, where attendees compete for a cash prize of something upwards of 15,000 euros, which is quite a lot for a student entrepreneurship competition, and a very nice way to get some money into the bank if you're a startup entrepreneur who's just beginning. And it's a really good event to attend to, especially if you're a student. It's a really fun 2 days in the city of Kotka, where the event is hosted. I've been there 3 times now. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of young entrepreneurs there, which makes it a fun event for other young entrepreneurs. It's a good event. The pitching takes place during both of the days, and basically the first day is like the first bracket, and then they pick the best ones for the second day, and then they pitch again, and then the winner is announced at the end of the event. There's a couple of stands. There's like some there's a dinner time, and just networking, and there's also workshops for entrepreneurs who attend the event. So you can sign up for like pitching workshops, etc., where they go through on how to do those things. And it's a really fun time. in general. But yeah, I think about this event, I think it has a lot of potential. It has a really big a hook for people to why they'd attend to it. It has the big cash prize for the first place winner. But I don't think they are getting all the potential out of this event that they could. I think this event could be a lot bigger and a lot better. I think last year it was somehow the arrangements at the event were not that well, I think, thought through. I think it could be a lot bigger and better if they put more time and effort into it. That they already do, by all means, but I don't know. I feel like it could be a lot more than it is right now. There's a lot of student entrepreneurs, especially now, and there's gonna be even more in the future. And the cash prize is definitely big, and it brings in a lot of people every year. But the problem is, for example, there was almost no stands. There was very little networking at the event. Last year, I feel like the year before it was a lot better because the event space was a lot smaller. So last year it was a really big this museum type of event space. So everybody was really spread out. Compared to the previous years where everybody was sort of packed in, and you could alternate between the networking space and then the speaker event space where there's some speaker events as well, and the pitching competition as well in the same room. But yeah, I think it's a really good event if you're a student entrepreneur. I definitely recommend it. It's fun 2 days in Kotka, and there's the pitching competition definitely is worth it to give that a go. But yeah, so yeah, next up, let's take a boat ride across the Baltic Sea into Estonia and Latitude 59. Latitude 59 is Estonia's flagship startup event. It brings about, I think, 4,000 people together into their biggest startup event, and it's really great. It follows the standard formula for startup events, so it has the speaker events, the networking area, stands, after party, all that fun stuff, free coffee. And I think in general it was a really fun event to attend to. The tickets were not crazy expensive, and we had really good fun there, networking and growing our network and acquiring customers. So it was really fun event to attend to, and definitely once it comes up next May again, we're gonna go there. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say about the Latitude 59. It was a good event, follows the standard formula, and it brings about a lot of people into the heart of Tallinn, where the event is hosted at the capital of Estonia. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, next event. Yeah, so next up we're gonna take a bus ride from the city of Tallinn to the city of Tartu, which is another big city in Estonia, where they have Startup Day, which is their other big startup event, which brings together a lot of different local startups. We've been here now 2 times, and it's been really fun, a really big blast both of the times. So it's a bit further into the country than for example, Latitude, but it is really definitely worth it. The event is quite big. It's this big hall space with 2 sides, and there's a lot of stands there from big companies as well as a lot of local startups, which was really fun to see. Tour all the local startup booths and discuss with them, and then also the regular networking as well at the meeting side of things. It's really good. So we've been able to secure a lot of meetings there, as well as the talk to the booths, which has been really fun. They obviously also have the usual after party as well, following the sort of standard procedure for startup events. So that was also fun. There's also a pitching competition there, which is really good. It was fun to watch. We didn't attend it, but it was really fun. So yeah, I think that's all about Startup Day. It's really good event. It's 2 days, and then the obviously the side events before that. So I guess 3 days, 4 days, depending on the side event days, and then also the networking after party at the big warehouse they have it at. So it's a really good event, all in all, to attend in Estonia. So yeah, next event. Yeah, so now let's take a flight to Malmö, Sweden, to SaaSSiest 23. So SaaSSiest is a gathering of SaaS people, so you can expect everything about SaaS happening there. So it was people doing SaaS about pretty much everything you can imagine, and it was really fun. A lot of fun people to talk to, interesting stuff, interesting speaker events. Also free food was included in the ticket, which was really nice. So we had a lunch hour in the middle of the event. Also standard networking area, 2-day event, after party, really good time. bunch of fun. Tickets were like, I think 400 or 500 euros, depends on when you buy them. I think they get more expensive towards the end. But yeah, I think I'd say it was a really standard issue startup event, especially geared for SaaS people. So if you're into that, I definitely recommend you to go here. It was really good time. People from like all over the Europe came to it, so it was a good event all in all. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else about SaaSSiest, so next event. Yeah, there's another group of events I also want to talk about, which is community events. So there are most likely a couple of these entrepreneurship communities in your local area. For example, Aalto ES or Boost Turku or Maria 01 or Epicenter Helsinki. So the last two were like working communities, but there's also these entrepreneurship societies usually with schools. So you can expect to find networking events that are really low barrier to entry in those. So they're also usually completely free of charge. So you don't have to worry about paying a massive amount of money for the tickets. For example, like these events, obviously they cost hundreds and hundreds of euros to attend to, but these local community events are definitely good and something you should look into. You get to really tightly knit and network with your local community. They're really good, and you can even score some customers or investors from them sometimes, so that's also really good. So you should definitely not discount them, even though they're free or smaller scale. They're definitely important because you get to know the local community. They're also a lot of fun, free drinks, free food, sometimes some good panelist or like this panel discussion also usually at the events. So definitely look into the local community that you have. They're definitely something for the people who are at the earlier stages of their entrepreneurship journey, because you can attend them, no cost, no barrier to entry basically. So just register, sign up, show up at the event. Alright, so that was all for the events I've visited so far, my reviews of them and how they went when I visited. And yeah, let me know if I missed any in the Nordics or in Finland, or if you have any events in mind that I should visit. Put them down in the comments below, and also remember to like and subscribe. And ding dong that notification bell, as all the YouTubers say. It helps me a lot. This is a new channel, so all the support and likes you can give help me a lot. Also put down comments about the videos you would like to watch, what type of entrepreneurship content you're interested in, so I can make even better videos just for you. Thank you very much for watching, thank you for your time, and see you in the next video.